if you want to know what actually happens when you prioritize yourself, then this live is for you. Hello, happy Tuesday if you are watching. Hey, happy Tuesday if you're watching live. Hello if you are watching the replay. It is another live with Shalina B. If you don't know who I am, again, I am Shalina B, your go-to mom for family meals and routines. And I help my mamas prioritize their self-care, their ambitions, their goals, their hobbies, whatever it is that you desire that our roles and responsibilities keep us from doing or we put off last because we feel like we don't have the time or we don't believe we're supposed to. That's what I'm here to remind you to prioritize her. Prioritize yourself because that is important. And that's what we've been doing for the month of May. So, hey, happy June. It is June. It's June 2nd. So happy June to you all. All May, we have been prioritizing ourselves every day, of course, but celebrating 5 years of me being in the content creation business, building a community, just really finding my place in this online space. When a lot of noise, a lot of stuff that's on the internet that's not good, I try to use my platform for good. And 5 years ago in May on Mother's Day, I decided to show up online and encourage and inspire during a rough time of the pandemic, a very uncertain time. We were all in the home and a lot of our outlets might have been at home. Outside of the home. My outlet was certainly outside of the home. So I had to find other ways to connect, and online was that way. And it has been a beautiful journey to get here. So if you haven't seen my past lives, any of them, but specifically from the month of May, go back and watch some of them. I had some really good messages in there, just reflecting on my time and just some of the things that I want to share with you, some lessons that I've learned throughout that time. So so the month of May was just celebrating 5 years, celebrating PrioritizeHER. That is a part of my business that I created that, again, encourages women, encourages moms to just make yourself a priority. And because often we are told not to, we are told to put ourselves last, or maybe we're not told, that's just what we have been, society or our beliefs have made us feel like we need to do that, or we do that because of self-sacrificing and all those things that we all know that we've heard or we've done. And last week we did the PrioritizeHER challenge. So it was a 7-day challenge. And it was in my newsletter. So if you're not a part of my newsletter, definitely join my newsletter. If you are on Instagram, you can comment newsletter and I'll send you the link, or it's in my bio, or if you're on YouTube, it's also in my bio, and it's always in my description box. So definitely join my newsletter because we had that challenge. Every day I sent an email of just small steps to get back to you. Nothing overwhelming, nothing that is adding to our plate, because we know our plates are already full. So it wasn't a lot of stuff to add to your plate, just small steps that you can incorporate into your daily life to create that harmony in our lives. Because I know we always try to achieve the balance, but I talk a lot about achieving harmony, because with harmony, everything comes together, works together, and tries to play together. Whatever is a priority at the time, other things just take their spot, and the cycle continues. So that's kind of what I promote, is that harmonizing life versus that balance, because balance gets very hard. And I'm a Libra, so I would know, because I've always tried to achieve balance in all the things that I've done, but I realized that sometimes it's hard to get those things even like that. So so definitely join the challenge at any time. Even though we did it last week, it is ongoing. So if you have that link, like I said, if you're watching the replay and you comment her, it will be sent directly to your DMs. But if we are live, just let me know, DM me, or comment in the chat box, and I'll make sure you get the link. So please join the challenge. Send it to a friend, a mama friend, somebody who you feel needs to get back on track, get back to themselves. It is a great way to do so. We've had a great response from those who have done it, said that was exactly what they need. And I think that it's been good for me as well. I feel like as we are entering into the summer season, whenever there's a new season, I feel like with new seasons, new phases, there is just like either You feel motivated, you don't feel motivated, you are on your routines, you are off your routines, or you just are itching to do something different. So this was a good segue into the summer, or preparing for the summer, to get my mind right, because I will be preparing for all 4 of my kids. I feel like the other summers weren't as bad because the littles were little, but now they are growing quickly and they are busybodies, and my eldest are starting to get a little moody as they enter into their preteen stage. So y'all pray for me. I love them dearly, but I'm just trying to come up with a nice summer schedule for them so everybody's needs are met. We spend a lot of time together and stuff like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll share a little bit toward the end of this live about what I have coming up with summer scheduling and things like that. Last year I did a summer series. We connected in the Facebook community just to kind of keep each other uplifted and accountable over the summer. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that later. So let's get into the topic. I don't have too long. I don't want to hold you long, but I just wanted to make sure that I wrapped up the challenge, talk a little bit about it, just so you know what it is, what's going on, and to give you a little something for your week, or whatever you might need. So again, we are talking about what happens when you actually prioritize yourself. We all say that we want to prioritize our self-care. We take time for ourselves and things of that nature, but sometimes it doesn't always happen. We have good intentions, great intentions actually, but I think we let other things overshadow it. We let our work overshadow it. We get to the point of burnout when our bodies are screaming at us to tell us, okay, you finally need to sit down. You finally need to take care of yourself. And we don't want to wait until we get sick, until we get to that point. And I know I've been at that point a lot of times, which is why I'm like, I need to make this a daily practice. Self-care should be a daily practice. And I think if I can recall, the definition of self-care is like an individual act of your health and your wellness and your well-being, and it should be a regular daily act, not just something that you do when it's cool or when you can throw it on your calendar, but it should be every day. You should be doing something, making small steps toward your self-care, toward your health and well-being. So some people don't like the word self-care, but your health and well-being, when you think about it that way, it is all toward your health and well-being. And when I think about my health and well-being, I think about the mind, body, soul, and spirit. And those are some of the things that we'll talk about today. That happened, that change, that creates a shift when you prioritize yourself. So let's get right into them. So the first thing that happens when you actually prioritize yourself is you get closer to God. And then this is one of the messages during the challenge that week. It was about faith and how faith is important, and faith is the center of all things. And I often find when I'm busy, when I'm distracted, when I have a lot going on, I am off of my spiritual self-care routine. I have some videos on that as well if you're interested. But your spiritual self-care routine, it grounds you, it centers you, it gets you back to God. You have time to hear from God because you are actually taking a moment to pause, to be still. A lot of us don't know how to do that. And I've heard that the more I talk about being in your prayer closet and finding moments of stillness, it is hard for people to be still. It is hard because we're not used to it. We're used to moving and going all the time. And even when we are still, we have our phones, we have something else going, it's noise. We never have a moment of just quiet and still. And it feels uncomfortable. And a lot of us don't like to sit in silence or be uncomfortable. But those are the times that we hear from God. When we rest, we hear from God. And it's happened time and time again. And it amazes me that literally when you rest, when you go to Him, when you pray to Him, when you go in a prayer closet, even if I don't say anything, my prayer closet is literally my closet. And I just get to my knees and I just sit there in silence, or I pray, or I say a few things. You really, the faith, that is so important to hear from Him and to spend that time with Him and to have that relationship with Him. And again, when we are distracted and when we're doing all the things, we cannot focus on Him. We cannot get those answers. We can't get the direction for our path. And because that's another thing that I've noticed, I would say within the last year, I've really been on the journey of total surrender. And I thought that I surrendered a while ago, but I realized I only surrendered certain parts of my life and not all of my life. But really giving my whole life to God, it was scary because it literally is saying, no matter what happens, I know you got me. I know you got my back, no matter what. And no matter what, can be a death, it could be a sickness, it could be a loss of income, it could be a loss of something that's very important to you. But me saying, I trust you throughout all of this, even if it hurts, even if I don't understand it, I trust you. And it was very hard for me to say that and to make that decision. But after making that decision, things it just flows a lot better. That doesn't say that I don't have bad days. That doesn't say that times don't get hard, but I think having that trust and that dependency on God, it really, I do feel closer to him. I have a closer relationship with him, but I don't have to feel like I have to carry everything alone. And that was something that I always felt like I had to do it all alone, that I didn't want to go to him for my problems. But after totally surrendering to him, I don't know, it just feels, I have ease. And I think that one of my ultimate goals in life is to live a life of peace and ease. And it's funny that I've said that because I feel like every time I said, God, I want to live a life of peace and ease, he gave me another child. So I'm like, how am I supposed to live a life of peace and ease when I have all the children that you've blessed me with? But I think even more, it's more important that I prioritize myself and that I find that peace and that ease for myself. And I show my children what that looks like as well, because I haven't always had peace in my life. And I feel like once you kind of have those disruptions and you live the life that you live, you don't expect it. But now having a glimpse of what peace and ease is, I strive for it all the time. And I know that my peace comes from God, and that when I'm centered with him, everything flows easily and I get my peace from it. So first thing, what happens when you actually prioritize yourself is getting closer to God. Second thing is you have better habits. And if you've been following me for a while, I talk a lot about habits, routines, and systems. And again, this is another excerpt from one of the challenges from that week. I didn't want to give away everything, but I just wanted to give you a little taste of what it is. So I do hope that you join on your own and that you can take in the full messages and the challenges and the tips and things from the emails for the week that you decide to join. But so better habits are so necessary for anything that we're doing. If we're trying to have reach a certain goal, if we're trying to achieve something, you have to have habits to be able to do that. We can't achieve anything on the fly, winging it, but we have to be disciplined. We have to have some consistency and some momentum to be able to do the thing that you desire to do. So I know for me, this day was very important to me because I had totally fallen off of all of my routines and my systems and my habits. And I start picking up bad habits, start eating terrible foods, going to bed late. And then it just trickled off into other routines not getting done. And I just wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling good, about myself, all those things. So whenever I get into the moments of eating bad, not sleeping, because I end up getting insomnia because my mind is racing and I'm not able to rest. Because I'm not doing my morning routines. I'm not, prioritizing my self-care. I'm not working out or doing any of the things that I typically do for myself. My habits are off. And typically you go to comfort. So you go to those bad habits, those unhealthy habits. So for me, a good pizza late at night or Taco Bell is something that we've gone to on stressful days. So I had to think about better habits. And one of the tips were to habit stack, stacking something that you already do with a new habit, and different things like that. So I definitely had to rework some of my habits, so I can feel better, and prioritize myself because that's important. That's a good step, for to have those habits, but also those habits, help you to create that routine. And once you have that routine, you create that system. So very, very important to do that. So for me, I talked a little bit about going back to the basics. So thinking about what are your basics. If you have to like strip out everything, but you want to think about the basics of what brings you back to yourself, what are they? And for me, that's reading my devotional every day, stretching or moving my body every day, or getting outside, journaling my thoughts, and then just sticking to my schedule, planning, knowing what's happening, meal planning, all those things. So that's kind of like my everyday. When I have a really good day, those are the things that typically occur. And today would be an example of that. I read my scriptures this morning on time because the Bible app gives you can do Bible plans. And sometimes I've been behind, but today I was on target for that. Got the boys out for school. I created a little fruit bowl or fruit plate for my kids before they got downstairs because they woke up early, and instead of me like kind of panicking because I didn't get that time to myself before they woke up, I tried to think ahead, and I had a clear mind to do it. I made my husband's lunch. I made one of the kids some breakfast. And I guess so before the littles got downstairs, I got them some fruit. Then we went for a walk, and then I did their laundry. So it was just a good day today. And all days aren't going to be like this, but I try to look at this day as like, what things set me up for success? What things did I do to make sure that I'm staying ahead? I went to bed a little early. I got up at a decent time. My demeanor was calm. So if my demeanor was calm, my kids' demeanors are calm, because typically your kids will just kind of react based on how you are. So I try to make sure that I was calm, I was loving, I was present, and yeah, and it worked out, and it was a good day. And like I said, every day is not going to be like this. I get very overstimulated sometimes, especially when all the kids are just in their moods, but having those healthy habits just help me in general, but also help my family. So just to break those three down. So having those better habits, when you are in tune with your habits, you're able to break those unhealthy habits. So when I have my better habits, I'm not eating the pizza, I'm not doing all those late night activities that aren't going to do me any good the next day. You are aware of what habits you need for intentional self-care and for your goals. So once you break those unhealthy habits, you can think about, I need to do X, Y, and Z for me to prioritize my self-care, for me to reach those goals that I want to reach. So so that makes you aware of the things that you have to do, because sometimes you don't know what habits you need to build because you have those unhealthy habits or other distractions in the way. So once we get closer to God, and then we start those habits. So for me, waking up in the morning, doing my self-care, planning ahead for the day, those are the habits that I need to continue doing and getting back to those routines so I can make sure that I have time for my self-care, because I've mapped everything out for the day and I plan time for myself. And then I know the habits that will help me reach the particular goal, i.e. me going live today, me doing the challenge last week. I'm able to plan for those things and not wing it like I've been doing. Sometimes I wing it just to see how it's going to be, because if I am teaching and giving you all tips about having healthy habits and routines, sometimes I need to fall off of mine too, because I'm human and we're all human, but I like to see what happens when I fall off and how do I get back on, because those are the lessons that we need sometimes to know, like, okay, we all fall off, but how do we get back on? What are some of the things that we can do to start back? And that's something that I've been able to perfect over and over. And yeah, it's the same thing every time. And then the third thing for habits, better habits, it leads to those sustainable routines that help you and your family. So if I'm not on top of my routines, my kids may not be on top of my routine. So it's important that we are modeling those behaviors for our kids, because if we're not doing our chores or doing the things that we're supposed to do, how do we expect them to do theirs? If we're laying around, and I noticed that too. Like if I'm on my phone, I realize that they're less engaged. But if I'm present, they're present. Or if I have a book in my hand, they want to read their books too. So I'm trying to be really mindful about that I'm not on my phone a lot when I'm around them. Like obviously it's going to happen, but I've noticed that habit as well. Having a book in my hand, or just making sure that I'm present and that I'm in tune with them and not on my phone. Or I'll let them know, hey, I need to get on my phone for a minute, and then I'll come back. So that's been pretty helpful too. So number 2, better habits. And then number 3, of what happens when you actually prioritize yourself. You have a healthier body. And this is a big one for me too, because I fell off on my habits, and one of those habits that I fell off on was my Peloton. I'm looking at it over here because it's starting to talk to me like, you need to get on this Peloton. But again, I just kind of let all those things go. But and it happens. But now I feel like everything has gone wrong. Like my body I've gained my weight back. I've been fluctuating with this post-pregnancy weight. My daughter is 20... Is she 22 months? Yeah, June, July, August. Yeah, she's 22 months now. And it is hard to get that weight off, y'all. I had kids. I had my 2 littles back to back. So in 2022 and 2023, back to back. So it's been hard to get that weight off, and that weight, and I don't know, being closer to 42, closer to 40 as well. Not 42, but you know what I'm saying. It's just harder to get the weight off. So I know even more I need to be disciplined, and I need to be good about my habits and my routines so I can continue being healthy, one for me but for my family, so I can be here for my family. And again, I can teach them healthy habits as well. But y'all, I fell all the way off. My knees were hurting. I ended up like spraining something in my knee. My back was hurting real bad, my neck. So I've been in physical therapy and pelvic floor therapy every week. She has to like untwist my back because everything is just out of whack. And I had a sleep study, and I have sleep apnea. And it's crazy that everything underlying with all of these ailments that I have now, because I've fallen off my routines and my habits, and I've been eating really terrible and not moving my body, is weight loss. Everything was like, obviously they had all these other things. You can do medication, you can do the machine, this and this, but it said the number one thing was weight loss. So I know for me, weight loss means to be on my routines, to be on my habits, to be more disciplined, to move my body, to eat better foods, all those things tie together. So I'm like, I could do all those quick fixes, but being healthy and living a healthier lifestyle, could change all of that. Eating healthy helps your brain and your mind to function better. You have more positivity because you're not feeding your mind with gunk. You're really feeding your mind with brain food, as they say. So just so many benefits to our bodies. And I feel like, really the number one thing is our bodies are a temple, so we should take care of it. And I got to remember that every time I want to feed my, eat my feelings, I'll say, I have to remember that my body is a temple, and to watch what I feed it, because we've done a great job in the past of cooking our own meals, because sometimes this outside food, you don't know where it's coming from, you don't know who's cooking it, we just don't know a lot of it, and a lot of stuff in these regulations, I don't know what's going on. So we try our best to cook our foods at home and eat it at home, but I try to remember that my body is a temple when I'm getting ready to consume something that is not going to do me any good the next day. But like I said before, intentional movement, it connects us to our minds and our bodies, and it connects us to our minds and our spirit as well. We have more positive thoughts. We can hear from God as we're moving our bodies, we're stretching, and these are things, like I said, you can do together. So spending time with God, you can be being quiet and stretching. You can walk in place. You can go for a walk. Today, me and the littles went for a walk. It felt really good. I didn't want to do it at first because, again, I've been tired. I'm trying to get back onto a better routine. But I was like, I know I'll benefit from it and they'll benefit from it. And the way the day worked out, I needed to take them outside because I try to break up the day so they're not doing one activity for so long, because they'll just be upset and it'll be hell for all of us. So we went for a walk. It was a really good walk. And yeah, I just feel better. And now my body's like, oh, we can get back on the Peloton now. So like literally that one small step, taking that one walk, has now given me like the energy and the motivation to be like, you need to get back on it. So maybe I may not get back on the Peloton today or tomorrow, but it's something forthcoming. So I'm so glad that the rain is gone. So at least I can go for walks and I can take the kids for the walk. So it's really like a win-win. So ultimately, like I said, there's small shifts toward bigger goals. And it just really helps you all around, eating better, having better consistency, feeling better. Like I said, you're more motivated to work towards your goals, or you have better rest when you move your body. Rest is better. You can sleep better, because my sleep has been terrible. So I'm really looking towards some better sleep, hopefully losing some weight so I don't have that sleep apnea situation, because to get that result, I was a little upset at myself, but I'm like, this road to 40, I have to get healthy. I have to get better. And then ultimately, with all these things, it just helps you to be present. Be present with God, be present with yourself, and be present with those who matter in your life. So again, just to recap, what happens when you actually prioritize yourself: closer to God, better habits, and healthy body. So that's it, y'all. A quick little live today, but I just wanted to make sure that I wrapped up the month of May. I wrapped up Prioritize Her week and Prioritize Her month. Wrapped up my 5th year anniversary. I'm so excited for just to continue on this journey, this ministry. Not only is stewarding my family, but stewarding my community. I think that is where God has called me at this time. So I'm going to go where I'm called and go where I'm led. And this is where it is. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this live, enjoy the lives in general, and just whatever that I share. I always try to share things that are helpful to you, that speak to you, that resonate with you in some kind of way, that just makes your life a little better and gets you small steps towards your goals, whether that's a personal goal, professional, spiritual, whatever it may be. So as I wrap up, again, I want to invite you to the Prioritize Her challenge. Again, it's for small shifts toward bigger goals and connecting to you. If you're watching the replay, comment her and the link will be sent directly to you, or DM me and let me know you want to join the challenge, or just comment challenge. I'll send it to you. And then I just want to let you know as well so my schedule has been Tuesdays live on Instagram, Wednesday at 9 a.m. on YouTube. But since the summer is coming up, y'all, kids are about to be out. I have not created my summer schedule yet. I'm still trying to work out what we are going to do for the kids. So I plan to go live and talk a little bit about some summer tips and some summer freebies that I have coming up that I typically do every year next Tuesday, live on Instagram. But after that, I will still have to figure out what summer looks like. But in the meantime, make sure that you are subscribed to my newsletter, because I will be sharing more things in email form, because I might not be able to do a lot of like face-to-face format if my kids are home, but I'll definitely be sending out some tips and some things in my newsletter. I typically talk about some ways to have a schedule for your kids, to meal plan for the summer. And then I start to talk about, how to purge and things over the summer to get prepared for going back to school. I have back to school checklists and everything. So, that time comes up real quick. June, July, and August is right around the corner. So don't want to overwhelm that now, but just know that it is coming up really soon. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, join the newsletter. Follow me, subscribe wherever, YouTube, Instagram, and my newsletter. And yeah, we'll chat on the next live next week. And then after that, I'll figure out my schedule and you'll know. So take care. Thank you for watching the replay. And I'll see you on my next one.